The Hofstra Flying Dutchmen under 8th-year head coach John Danowski bring lofty visions into the Carrier Dome. A win over the heavily favored Syracuse Orangemen would mean a trip to the NCAA Final Four coming up next weekend in College Park, Maryland. The dream of every player participating in Division I lacrosse. But to realize that dream, Hofstra has to forget about a nightmare. It happened April 6, 1991, when Syracuse handed Hofstra its most lopsided defeat ever. A defeat that showed in black and white which program is truly superior. Yes, Syracuse tied a school record scoring 30 goals in a 30-10 victory. Matt Ryder led the way with 6, and after that lopsided game, Hofstra dropped Syracuse from its schedule. In the 2 years since that game, Hofstra has turned its program around. A high-powered attack led by the likes of Mike Resigliano has compiled 10 wins this season, and goaltender Joe Romeo has stopped opponents when they've had point-blank opportunities. Hofstra has visions of making it to the Final Four. But to do that, they have to get by a talented Syracuse team, led by Chris Saran in goal, who's had a brilliant senior season, and fellow senior Matt Ryder, the team's leading goal scorer, who added a Sky Ryder goal in the most recent game against Johns Hopkins to his list of accomplishments. Syracuse brings an 8-game winning streak in, the Orangemen trying to get to the Final Four for the 11th consecutive year. Super Sports, a production of Adelphia Cable Communications, presents NCAA playoff action in the quarterfinal round. This afternoon, the Hofstra Flying Dutchmen with a record of 10-5 take on the Syracuse Orangemen with a record of 9-2. Today's game being played at the Carrier Dome here in Syracuse. And a very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dan Horden along with Dale Drypolcher. We're happy to have you watching our Super Sports coverage of NCAA playoff lacrosse. Of course, we're looking ahead to the possibility that Syracuse will be in the Final Four next weekend in College Park, Maryland. But Dale, I think the question is Hofstra looking ahead or looking back at that 30-10 defeat 2 years ago?
Well, I think if you're the Hofstra coaching staff, you want them to remember it. If you're the Syracuse coaching staff, you want them to forget it. They don't want them to be overconfident or cocky. I think a lot of things have to fall into place for Hofstra. It can happen. They don't match up numbers-wise, midfield attack. Syracuse just has too many numbers. But we've said that before, and Syracuse has had some tough games, especially in the NCAA.
I guess in Syracuse's case, there could be the question of looking too far ahead. If Syracuse wins today, the likelihood is a matchup with Princeton next week in College Park. That, of course, would be a rematch of last year's championship game that Syracuse lost. Is there that danger of anticipating a game that Syracuse has looked forward to since Memorial Day last year?
You got guys like Ryder and you got Saran. You got some leaders out there who I think know what it takes. That's when people say that's a cliche, but they know you can't look ahead. I think they've got the team primed right where they are. I was down in the field. They look relaxed. They look like they did all the games this season except the Hopkins game when they looked a little more tense, but that worked out to their advantage also. So I think that Syracuse is ready for this and they're not looking ahead.
All right, this is the 8th year the NCAA has had a Final Four format where all 4 teams meet in one site. Syracuse has never missed it in the previous 7 years. Will try to make it again with a victory today over Hofstra. Stay tuned. We'll have the start coming up in a moment on Super Sports. Syracuse playing its last game of the season in the Carrier Dome. The Orangemen looking to improve an all-time dome record of 80-5 as they take on Hofstra in the playoffs today. Hofstra coached by John Danowski in his 8th year with the Flying Dutchman. His career record 91 up and 67 down. And he, of course, will be going up against the lacrosse legend in Roy Simmons Jr. His career record 228 victories and 82 defeats in his 23rd year at Syracuse. Have fun and enjoy. This will be the 14th meeting all-time between Syracuse and Hofstra. Syracuse leading the all-time series 10-3. Roy Simmons 4-1 in his career against Hofstra. And as we noted, Syracuse won the most recent meeting 2 years ago by 20 goals. Hofstra's last win over Syracuse came back in 1975. And that was a relatively lopsided victory in favor of the Flying Dutchman. We're set to begin here at the Dome. Chris Saran in goal for Syracuse. He started every game of his senior season and quite possibly is Syracuse's most valuable player this year. Mark Fietta will do the face-off duties for Syracuse. He'll be matched up against Kevin Moran, a young man from the Syracuse area who handles face-off chores for Hofstra. Syracuse in the home white, Hofstra in the road yellow, and we're underway. Andy Pusha, I beg your pardon, won the opening face, and Syracuse gets a quick goal from Matt Ryder. It took all of 5 seconds. 2 weeks ago, in Syracuse's most recent game against Johns Hopkins, it took 6 seconds. If Syracuse wins today, they'll score in 4 next weekend.
Pusha just controlled the face and then got the jump and the fast break, and he's always looking left, his left. He finds him open, and Ryder puts it in with 5 seconds gone, and that's quite an audacious start. They lose the second face-off, and Hofstra up with it. Let's see what they can do. Ball down. Pusha, great job so far. Let's see whose stick. That's out of a Hofstra stick? No. So that will be Hofstra ball.
It was a terrific job by Pusha to catch up to Moran and knock the ball out of his cross. Andy Carlson will put it in play for Hofstra, the second leading scorer for the Flying Dutchman with 38 points, 24 coming on goals. Hofstra, an attack-dominated offense. Almost all of the scoring comes from the attack. Syracuse gets much more balance from its midfield. First shot taken went wide of Saran. Loose ball, loose on the AstroTurf. Batted back toward the midfield stripe.
Offside.
And Syracuse will...
Oh no, it was a push.
Hofstra gets it.
I thought he was on the line, but he said he was pushed, so it will be Hofstra ball, no penalty. In that there's no time served. Syracuse the ball will go to possession of the Dutchman.
Hofstra coming off a playoff win last week over Massachusetts. Hofstra posted 2 victories over Massachusetts, one during the regular season, and last week's playoff win. It was the first playoff win ever for the Flying Dutchman. They had been 0-5 in the NCAAs before that victory. This is Kevin Botto. Now on the right side, Dom DiNardo, who had a big game against Syracuse a couple of years ago. His shot saved by Saran.
Let's see where they give the ball. Now it goes Syracuse way. That's Smith, big stick midfielder, I believe, made that play. Thank you. Mike Wittick, that is, who made that good play.
And a look at John Danowski, formerly of CW Post, before coming to Hofstra. Charlie Lockwood racing upfield for Syracuse. Gets it to Steve Bettinger, whose shot was off the shoulder of the goaltender, Joe Romeo. Matt Ryder raced back behind the cage to be closest when the ball went out of bounds, and Syracuse gets it.
You're going to see a zone defense now. They thought they might run into this variations where they got a backup, somebody who can jump if the man in the zone gets beat, and that's one of the things they're still supposed to do, knock the ball down, force Syracuse outside to the perimeter.
This is Lockwood, cranks it up, and his shot got past the goalie Romeo, but went a little bit wide of the cage. Charlie Lockwood with 16 goals in his junior season, and 23 points. This is Andy Pusha, who assisted on Syracuse's first goal 5 seconds into the game. Saw the open man, Steve Bettinger. And they say that it was tipped by Hofstra when it went over the head of Steve Bettinger.
Off a gold stick, you're right, Dan, and Syracuse will get the ball with a zone defense. They faced the last time out. Let's see what they got now.
Matt Ryder backing in on his defender, takes the shot. It was knocked away by one of the big sticks before it got to the goal, and that goes out of bounds. Ruled out of bounds off Hofstra.
That was still a shot.
Even though it went over the sideline as opposed to the baseline, it had been intended to be a shot. That should also be considered a shot. Ryder closest.
Shot number 5 for Syracuse.
So Syracuse pelting the Flying Dutchman with shots in the early going.
And that's one way to get at him. Try to blitz him with shots and let him know that you're going to put the pressure on. But Romeo actually has had one save so far.
Lockwood beating his man. Bounce shot saved by Romeo. And picked off the turf by Hofstra. Flying Dutchmen are a running team. They might try to change that a bit against Syracuse, but in their other matchups this year, they have shown no desire to slow it down, which so many teams try to do against Syracuse.
Syracuse coaching staff expects them to slow it down a little. That doesn't mean they won't run at all, but they want to dictate when they run, when they slow it down.
Syracuse is such a great running team that even teams that like to run find themselves trying to slow it down against Syracuse because it's almost impossible to beat the Orangemen at their own game.
And the depth is also a factor. They've got so many midfielders that can run. Another
phenomenal save by Saran on a terrific one-on-one shot.
His second save, that was a point blanker.
Chad Smith gets it up for Syracuse and gives it up to Charlie Lockwood. Lockwood's been involved in quite a bit of the offense in the early going. Now it's Steve Bettinger, wide of the cage. Passes it back to Dom Finn, who has just come in. Now it's Bettinger. Had it knocked out of his stick. Picked up by Hofstra. Nice defensive work by Tony Balomo. And here come the Flying Dutchmen, trailing 1-0 about 4 minutes into the game. This is an NCAA quarterfinal game. The winner moves on to the Final Four next weekend. And a likely matchup with Princeton. Syracuse in its usual man-to-man defense, and it's been effective so far, with the exception of the one point-blank shot that Saran saved. That shot was taken by the man who has the ball, Andy Carlson. He was being guarded by Reggie Thorpe. This is Kevin Barry. Barry's bounce shot saved by Saran. Saran started slowly against John Hopkins, but he's been outstanding in the early going here against Hofstra.
Great pass. Ball out of bounds. That'll be a push. That'll be Syracuse ball. It was a great pass going downfield by Fietta, and then there was a pass over the cage, went out of bounds, but they detected a push on Hofstra, so Syracuse should have ball behind. And Archer handles it.
You see Syracuse's record in the Dome, looking for its 14th consecutive win over the past few years. Syracuse with the ball. This is Ray Colsey. Now it's Dom Finn, who likes to shoot from this range. He passes it. It was deflected before he could get it to Jamie Archer. And it goes over to Hofstra.
In the crease against Syracuse, so they just turn it right back, and Hofstra on the move.
.9:45 left in the first quarter. Syracuse scored 5 seconds into the game. No scoring since. Dom DiNardo from Corning, handing it back to Mike Resigliano. And now it's Kevin Botto. Dave Donatello, number 8, had it back to Botto, and now out front to Resigliano. Out of movement out in front.
Sorry, Dan, just going to mention a number of players, 3 or 4 players from Corning on the team. They recruit a lot, Central New York area, the Southern Tier.
This is Resigliano from New Jersey, had it knocked away by Smith, and it was picked up by Saran. Reggie Thorpe running upfield. Evades a check, and now he'll pass to Steve Bettinger. Mark Fietta sets things up. This is Fietta.
You see on that zone, they collapsed on him when he went around. He ended up with 3 men on him. He passed back, but they're really trying to get a lot of bodies and not give a clear shot. Right there, boy, they're really collapsing. Nice shot.
Ray Colsey going to the left-handed shot to score. Syracuse leads 2-0 with 8:35 left in the first quarter.
Well, Roy Colsey makes a move back in, but look at see the yellow, the gold shirts on him? But he took it right, came back left, and beat Romeo. Look, see the bodies? They're trying to get the bodies on the shooter. They're collapsing on them, getting the people in the shooting lanes, and they couldn't do it that time, and Colsey comes up big. He's got 24 and 2 on the year.
Second on the team in goals scored behind Matt Ryder, who scored his 40th. Right at the start of this game, Syracuse wins the face. Bob Fazy was in for that face-off.
Lockwood helped him, came from the wing, picked the ball up, and Fazy controlled the initial draw. Syracuse changes on the fly.
John Barr with the ball for Syracuse. This is Jamie Archer. Now Lockwood cranks it up, hits the post, and it bounces out toward midfield. That shows you the velocity Lockwood has on that laser shot.
Palomo, the crease defenseman, 44 for Hofstra. When that ball goes out and Syracuse tries to penetrate, he really flies out and put the body and the stick on people. Very active in there. Watch number 44 for Hofstra.
Matt Ryder with the ball for Syracuse. Jeff Cole trying to keep up with Ryder. No easy task. Ryder spins toward the cage, gives it up to Steve Bettinger. Now back out front to Charlie Lockwood.
You see how closely they are guarding Syracuse cutters on the crease, and they're letting the men behind, but they're playing extra tough out in front.
Nice pass to Ryder. Tough angled shot, bounces behind the cage to Archer. Back to Ryder. And the shot taken and the goal scored by Andy Pusha. 3-0 Syracuse. Just about midway through the first quarter.
You know, use a basketball analogy, that's where you've done such a great job and then somebody stops and pops from the outside. As you're going to see, Archer passes, they get it back out, and then there's the long shot, and he puts it by the offside of the goalie. As Romeo couldn't stop it, 28, Michael Adams, a Middie, defensive Middie, couldn't stop it either.
It seems with that tightly packed zone that Hofstra's using, Syracuse's midfielders are going to have a lot of opportunities in this game.
They're really trying to put a lot of attention on the attack and I think maybe force them to take the outside shot. And when you make it, obviously it's to your benefit.
2 of the 3 Syracuse goals scored so far have been scored by Middies.
They lose possession and Hofstra has it. Long pass. Perhaps too long.
Great attempt to save it by Kevin Barry, but he couldn't do it. And you have to question the pass thrown by Jeff Cole, we saw a moment ago, and that's exactly what his head coach is doing.
Well, Hofstra, I believe, lost their last 4 games of the year, but they were very impressive throughout the season. They beat Loyola after Loyola had beaten Syracuse, and really, as you said in the open, a team that really has turned it around. And they've lost to some very good teams, really pushed Princeton, and you can't get much better than that. Behind the back shot by Beardsley as he'd come across defensively on the clear, but Syracuse had a lot of backup. There's Beardsley, but Syracuse good backup by Archer, and Syracuse gets the ball back.
And a big hand for Beardsley, although his shot went wide. John Barr fakes cranking it up. Now he puts it up high over the cage, and right there to back it up, Jamie Archer. 6.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Syracuse with a 3-0 lead. Looked like a case of miscommunication there between Archer and Matt Ryder. They rarely are not in the complete agreement when it comes to that.
Almost telepathic. A human 34 for Hofstra was there applying the pressure, but you're right, it did look like a bit of miscommunication. 6:19 left first quarter, and I think the pacing, not the score, but the pacing about what Hofstra would like. They want to get that lid off the cage down here on their end. Oh, another
Saran
save.
making another terrific save on the shot by Dave Donatello. And Chad Smith runs it up past the midfield stripe for Syracuse. Smith, the big stick, giving it up to Matt Ryder. Ryder in front to Bettinger, who scores. Top shelf goal right over Joe Romeo. 4-0 Syracuse. Bettinger from Ryder.
It was a classic. Delgado had to stay with him. 35 on the crease, and watch, there's the pass. Now the give, and Delgado not able to stop that as the left-handed shot goes past Romeo. You're going to see it again from ground level. Watch the pass back, and there's Delgado. Can't get stick on stick. And Bettinger causes a timeout to be taken as Syracuse puts in goal number 4 with 5:55 left first quarter.
And so far, this game has been completely dominated by Syracuse. Chris Saran has done a terrific job in keeping Hofstra off the scoreboard.
I believe this is a chest save. Let's watch it in slow-mo. Now Saran comes back from the stick side. Ball bounces, gets it down off his leg. Couldn't control the rebound, but that's what these guys are for, and you know he'll thank them later. But he usually gets the rebound also. Couldn't control it that time, but they came up with it, turned it into another goal.
That's covering a lot of the net for Saran. He was on the right side when the pass was made and made the save on the left side, and the shot that was taken very quickly.
Oftentimes you can't get the stick there. That's why you bring the body with it, and he controlled the shot but couldn't save the rebound, but his teammates helped him out, and Hofstra down 4-0 is, I'm sure, saying, look, don't worry, we've been in this position before, but let's not lose it. Let's not lose our composure. And that's the kind of thing that Saran can do also. You feel like there's a lid on the cage there, and he's just made some great saves, a couple of point-blank ones, and that's what frustrates the other team's shooters.
And you saw the note that Chris Saran has just moved into 5th place on Syracuse's all-time saves list, passing Allen Butch Brown.
Change the last assist to number 4, Matt Ryder. The assist on Steve.
So Syracuse leads at 4-0. 4 different Orangemen have scored goals: Ryder, Colsey, Pusha, and Bettinger. Ryder has 2 assists. Pusha has 1. Colsey's goal was unassisted. And Fazy cleanly wins the faceoff.
It's attracting a lot of attention, and he's going to lose the ball. Nice job by Hofstra. Jacobs there to help out.
Syracuse applying some pressure on the ride, forcing the errant pass, and it's picked away by Roy Colsey. Upfield to Archer, who had to stretch out to try to make the catch and couldn't quite make the lunging one-handed pickup.
Hofstra ball. These officials are starting that game quickly, and as they should. Hans Schmidt in, big stick, 44 for Syracuse. With the knee brace.
Bouncing ball right in front of the cage, and Saran just calmly reached over and picked it up. Long pass intended for his big stick was errant, but picked up by Bettinger of Syracuse. He's trying to get that pass to Mike Whittick.
Syracuse 11-6 in ground balls, and that statistic was just borne out. When the ball's on the ground, usually if you come up with it, you save your offensive opportunities, as in that case, and they are almost 2-1 in the ground ball department early in the game.
Colsey initiates the offense, draws the double team, still has the ball. Bounce shot taken by Mark Fietta, and it goes wide. Syracuse will hold on.
Went low on Romeo, the junior out of Port Jefferson, New York.
Dom Finn coming behind the cage for Syracuse. The Orangemen swing it around. This is Colsey, who scored once.
It's really hard to penetrate this tightly packed zone, so you have to be patient, look for the opening. Sometimes you can get a little impatient and force a pass. Colsey left, right, left, takes a left-handed shot. Back up, Syracuse. Archer again. Well, that's a stat they don't keep, but he's been there 4 or 5 times already today.
Well, with so many people packed between the goalie and the the outside of the offensive box, Hofstra will never get the ball on wide shots because there's always a Syracuse person there.
Absolutely, good point. Flag is down. Let's see, first penalty of the game. Time serve. Going to get a hold for 30.
One thing that worked well for Johns Hopkins a couple of weeks ago was to put a player right on Archer behind the cage. When shots went wide, that guy could race Archer to the out-of-bounds stripe to try and get credit.
There's the pushing, and there's the look at behind.
30 seconds holding.
And holding was called, so.
Number 6, Jeff Cole, is in the penalty area. Syracuse has its man-up opportunity. The Orangemen converting nearly 50% of its man-up chances this season.
This is their first. Shot. Pass.
And a goal for Matt Ryder. Dom Finn with the assist. Ryder with his second goal of the game, 41st of the season. 5-0 Syracuse first quarter.
Nice little pass by Dom Finn. Dom Finn going to get the ball. Bettinger takes the shot, but here's the ball back, and he just quickly makes that pass, and he allows Ryder to sneak out from the back and to get an angle, put it in.
I would think playing a team like Hofstra that plays that zone defense with everybody packed in right in front of the cage, when you're in a man up, you're essentially playing the same defense with one fewer guy.
That's right.
Must look really easy. Charlie Lockwood with the ball for Syracuse. Good look to Bettinger. He's pushed away from the ball, and it's alertly picked up by Romeo. Hofstra has it with Dave Heumann running upfield. And this is Dave Donatello. Around behind to Kevin Jacobs, who's been shut down by Rick Beardsley early. Nothing new for Beardsley. He's done a great job of shutting down the star players for the opposing teams throughout the season. He's the takeaway guy. He'll knock the ball down, and very, I think, consistent this year. And a little less vocal, perhaps. Not much. No. Nice kid. Right now, nice check. Reggie Thorpe knocking the cross right out of the hands of Andy Carlson. And Beardsley has it, fires up to John Barr. Syracuse with an opportunity to add to a 5-0 lead. Got in the way of that. That's the kind of thing that zone defense is. Get the stick up, get anything in front of it, and they topped it off a gold stick, and Syracuse retains possession. See Syracuse's seniors and the success they've had in the Dome, 25-2 over the years. This is their final Dome game. Shot taken, another goal scored, and it is a senior, Matt Ryder, who has the hat trick in the first quarter. Well, Romeo's got 2 saves, and he's in a little bit of trouble because this is Syracuse's 19th shot, and this is only the first quarter. It's a left-handed shot, and Romeo, they are taking point-blank shots at. He drives around, rolls, dodges inside off of Cole, and puts in goal number 6 with 2:19 left. Interesting to see this year if Matt Ryder can win the Turnbull Award. He didn't get off to a great start when Syracuse played its season opener at North Carolina, and a lot of the people who vote on that are based down in that area, Baltimore and North Carolina, but he has certainly been terrific over the last 90% of the season. And he wasn't bad in that first game either. No. And of course it didn't hurt when he did that Sky Rider, as you so aptly named it. And there's going to be the penalty. Fazy is going to send Syracuse down for 30 seconds. Is it 30 or a minute? I have to check that. Tripping, so that'll be a minute. So first man-up opportunity for Hofstra. Syracuse holding teams at about 24%, just about 1 out of 5 on man-up situations when Syracuse is man down. Let's see how they do. Johns Hopkins was able to score in 4 of 5 man-up opportunities against Syracuse. It was a great lacrosse game. Chad Smith with a takeaway for Syracuse. Look at the speed on that big stick Middie. He shoots, and it's saved by Joe Romeo. A wicked hit applied by Mike Doyle of Syracuse. He left Kevin Jacobs dazed on the Dome turf. Now it's Doyle hustling for that takeaway attempt, and now a little scuffling between Chad Smith of Syracuse and Tony Belomo of Hofstra. It's a little bit of a body contact sport, because this is what can happen if you've got the ball. Oh, what a smack. And then he's going to take a hit, and the ball ends up eventually going Hofstra way. Let's see what happens. They're going to face it off. What are they? Nope. They gave the ball to Hofstra. And you had a good look at Mike Doyle, the enforcer from West Genesee High School. Syracuse with a 6-0 lead. First quarter down to its last minute. And Hofstra gets on the board. Kevin Barry with a high shot, getting it past Chris Saran, and it's a 6-1 ball game. Well, they screen Saran. Watch everybody pull out of the way when he makes his move. He's just one-on-one, a sweep, and he goes up stick side high as they had Saran screen. Look, see right there? They jumped right in front of Saran at the last minute and took away that vision. And Barry very alertly
fired his shot past him, but you see that gold jersey went up in the air, and that was a perfect screen by Hofstra on the crease.
Barry, the former high school teammate of Steve Bettinger of Syracuse, putting Hofstra on the board. Chad Smith shoveling it forward to Dom Finn. You can see we're inside of a minute to go in the first quarter. Finn almost had his head taken off, and Syracuse wondering where's the call.
Ball stays moving.
Archer looked like he had the open net, but the ball bounced a little bit wide.
I think he lost the angle. He did there. He came back in and lost the angle, and the pass up there is going to go awry, and Syracuse will get the ball 26 seconds left.
There's Jamie Archer, and there's assistant coach John Desko pointing at his watch. That's to say, hey, look at the clock, 26 seconds left in the quarter.
John knows you can yell and they won't hear you anyway, so you might as well just have some sort of a signal.
It was either that or, hey, look at this Casio, only $19.99.
Right. Hey, look at this. I can read it 300 feet below the sea.
16 seconds left in the quarter. Dom Finn with the ball for Syracuse. Bettinger's shot saved by Romeo. Terrific save.
Terrific save, terrific pass backwards as they had Finn going, and he made a long backwards pass. This is a long clearing pass, and Saran will take it and take it another shot.
And Saran looking for the length of the field goal. Well, that's the end of the first quarter. Certainly an impressive one for Syracuse. The Orangemen seeking a trip to the Final Four, and at the end of the first 15 minutes of play, it's Syracuse 6, Hofstra 1. Dan Horton, Dale Dry-Polcher back at the Carrier Dome. Syracuse leading Hofstra 6-1 at the end of the first quarter. Marked the fourth time this season Hofstra was held to 1 goal in the first quarter. So not exactly a fast-starting Flying Dutchman team in many instances.
Syracuse loses the ball. Bettinger came across a little early. Shots, speaks for itself, 23-7. Saves, 4 apiece. The ground balls, that's the one I talked about. That was an important one in the first quarter. Syracuse able to control that. You know, you look at face-offs, 6 and 3. The conventional wisdom says if you're going to beat Syracuse, get at least 50% of the face-offs. Anything above that is real gravy, and you've got yourself a good opportunity. Right now, it's at, I believe, 6 and 3, advantage to Syracuse. So Hofstra not able to do much in that department.
That 23-7 shot stat really jumps out. That'd be 92-28 over the course of the game if it continued.
People applauding for Syracuse defense as Hofstra takes some time.
Quick shot taken and fired high. Hofstra will hold on.
Gargiulio was the man who took the shot.
Ball loose on the floor, picked up. Brian Holland for Hofstra. And this is Holland, number 20. He's from Long Island, trying to beat John Barr. Barr shoves him away. Holland still has it. Now giving it up to Andy Carlson, who was shut down by Reggie Thorpe in the first quarter. Great save by Saran. Shot taken by Robert Mino. Charlie Lockwood for Syracuse. Finding Jamie Archer, who goes down low after a great fake to score. It's 7-1 Syracuse.
Very pretty, and it all started with Saran making the save, falling on his butt, and then making a great outlet pass. Here's what happened at the end. Double faking right between the legs. Lockwood makes a great pass, cross cage, and Archer just makes a nice shot. Of course, Romeo's in tough shape when you've got that man one-on-one in front of you.
First point of the day for Jamie Archer. Came into this game leading the team in points with 52, one more than Matt Ryder. Ryder scored 3 goals already. Face-off, won eventually by Donegan of Syracuse.
Well, there's the jump. See the speed of Donegan? He really just flies out of there.
Now it's Roy Colsey. Syracuse up 7-1. early second quarter. Colsey from Finn. Now it's Fietta. Archer with the assist. Donegan with a shot. Went wide and out of bounds.
And once again, you see with that, if the goalie can't get out and get to the line, Syracuse is going to get a lot of shots as that ball goes out of bounds. They're not able to get back, and Hofstra is not able to get the opportunity to get the ball back. Finn looking for some help as he draws a number of gold jerseys. Nifty move.
Nice use of the foot by Kugavan. Shot taken, goal scored. Mark Fietta with his first goal of the day. Another Orangeman is scored, and it's 8-1.
Now the little thing is we don't see it, but this all started by Kugavan kicking the ball back onside, and Fietta taking the shot. But had Kugavan not played heads up there, that wouldn't have happened. We'll see if we can pick up. Watch Kugavan does. Boop. Thank you. Now he won't get an assist on that, but when they look at the tape, they'll know that without that, they wouldn't have gotten that goal. 8-1.
Colsey did make the assist. Fietta with a goal. Syracuse leading by 7. Kevin Berry, who has scored Hofstra's only goal, making the pass there to Jacobs. Back to Berry. Kevin Jacobs, the leading scorer for Hofstra, has been virtually non-existent, except when he was flattened by Mike Doyle. Jacobs is standing behind the cage. You don't see him, but Rick Beardsley does. Now Jacobs has it and got rid of it quickly.
Donatello, number 8, also an excellent attack man. There's going to be a penalty here as Kugavan is on Donatello, and Steve Miller lets us know that there's going to be a hold. See if we can pick it up. Doyle.
Tom DiNardo making the move.
There's the hold right there. So another man-up opportunity for Hofstra. Their second, first this quarter. One in the first quarter.
That's a 30-second call, so Flying Dutchmen have the man-up opportunity. Trailing 8-1. 11:30 left in the first half. And the goal scored by Dom DiNardo off a nice feed from Andy Carlson.
Nice. They sent the ball back the other way, and DiNardo just kind of actually was camped there. But when you're a man down and you're sliding over there, Kugavan slid, and they couldn't get a jump on number 11. And DiNardo, a nice little goal. Left-handed shot, man up, makes it 8-2.
Dom DiNardo, one of the players from Corning, with his 14th goal of the season. And he had a terrific game against Syracuse a couple of years ago in that 30-10 defeat. He had 4 goals and 2 assists. And he was a freshman in that game.
Nice job. Moran starting to assert himself a little bit here in the face-off circle. And
he's
that's
from Jamesville DeWitt High.
Right, and that's the thing that happens. Oh, a late flag. One minute on the slash. Let's see the. Oh yeah, right in the old face mask by Pusha. So he'll sit for a minute, and the nice. Let's look for DiNardo here. He's going to get the ball right in the right-hand side of the picture, but he was the guy that scored the last time on the man-up situation. He snuck down. He's going right back where he was before. On the left, front left, as the goalie looks at it.
Great save by Saran. The shot from Chris Panos.
That was a great save.
Time winding down in the Syracuse penalty. Thorpe has it. He was hit hard by Resigliano and didn't budge.
He bounced.
Resigliano 5'7", 160. Reggie Thorpe 6'1", 205.
And that will release the penalty. And Smith wants a shot.
Got the shot off. And Barr hustles after it, enabling Syracuse to hold on.
Cole in pursuit, but Barr beat him. Watch him hit him. And, you know, the amazing thing is the ball doesn't even budge out of his stick, and he just keeps cradling. And
poor Resigliano went full speed into a telephone pole.
And as you know, Dan, the phone pole usually wins.
10 minutes left in the half. This is Charlie Lockwood. John Barr's shot. Beats the goaltender, Romeo, on the ground.
Yeah, they've been going a little bit low on him, and Barr, I think, nice shot from that position. Watch how low he goes. Lockwood, watch, he draws the double team. There's the slide, and now it lets Barr crank and do the low shot. Once again, low on Romeo. Not able to get the stick on that.
Second assist of the quarter for Charlie Lockwood. John Barr with his first goal. Ryder, Colsey, Pusha, Bettinger, Archer, Fietta, and Barr have scored goals for Syracuse. So out of the 9 goals, there have been 7 names scoring them.
Last 3 faceoffs, I believe, have gone Moran's way. And the beauty of this sport is you can score and get the ball right back if you can win the faceoff, and that's what you have to do. And Moran has done his job for Hofstra as they struggle to get a couple more goals here against Saran. In fact, the faceoff's 4-1 in this quarter, Hofstra's favor.
Faceoff's a big key to Syracuse's win over Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, Vecchione was supposed to be one of the best in the country, and you hope to at least get your share, but Syracuse got well over 50%, so that really helped them.
And I believe had a stretch of 6 straight in the second half.
Right, crucial ones. I guess they're all important, but the crucial ones Syracuse seemed to come away with. Shot here, Beardsley near it, Syracuse ball.
And a nice hand for Rick Beardsley. So he runs upfield. Syracuse up by 7. 9 minutes left in the first half. So far, it has been all Syracuse, as the Orangemen scored the first 6 goals of the game. Charlie Lockwood splitting 2 defenders. He gets by another. And then he fired it wide with Matt Ryder. Not quite sure if that was intended for him or not.
Checking Coach Simmons out on that. He just said, calm down. Don't worry about it. You don't have to force that. Take your time. And Charlie knew as soon as it happened that I think that there was nobody where he thought they were going to be.
Offside call against Hofstra.
I just saw the official. I don't know whether it was offside or failure to get the ball in the goal area. Syracuse,
Archer was open. The pass went high.
Syracuse forcing the running a little bit. They had him open. Of course, that's the way they do things. So was an offside that they called on that. Let's see. Procedure. Now, and that'll give Syracuse another opportunity.
That is a longest in the nation streak for Syracuse. 11 straight trips to the NCAA semifinals if the Orangemen can win today. Syracuse being patient. Why not? They're up by 7. Tom Finn surveying what's in front of him. Archer with a pass, or I beg your pardon, Ryder with a pass. Donegan lost it out of his stick. Hofstra has it.
Human got it initially. Now they got it to another big stick. Procedure inside and then outside. You can't go back in the box. So that will cost them a possession.
And Dom Finn will pick it up for Syracuse and initiate the offense with 7:42 left in the first half.
You know, it's too difficult to do a time of possession thing, but in this sport, I'm not sure it would really help. Syracuse does things so quickly, it doesn't take them much time. It would be a misleading statistic. They really working hard, and there's an example. Doesn't take them that long to score once they get the ball, as Ryder takes a left-handed shot, unassisted,
And scores his 4th goal of the first half.
Not bad. He comes back left. Ooh, they got a stick up on him. You see how much attention he gets, Dan, but he's still able to. He goes right and then comes back left. Now there's the jump. They jumped out, tried to get him. Baudo, but left-handed shot gives him goal number 4, 6 points so far.
Ryder has that ability to kind of lull you to sleep a little bit. He appeared that he was setting up to pass it behind the cage to Archer, and then all of a sudden, boom, ball's in the net.
Moran has done a great job of getting him back in the face-off department. He picks up another on Fazy.
Backup goaltender is warming up for Hofstra. So we could be seeing Kevin Johnson, the backup netminder, shortly. Joe Romeo has given up 10 goals in the first half, and we still have about 7 minutes left. Flag thrown.
Hold. So that'll be a 30-second. There was a little. Held his neck, he did, with the stick.
Syracuse calls a timeout with 6:49 left in the half after the holding call went against Wittick. And a reminder that if you have any comments on our Super Sports coverage of Syracuse University sports, we hope you'll drop us a line. There is the address, Super Sports in care of Adelphia Cable, 500 South Salina Street in Syracuse, the zip 13202.
Well, so far the fans have been treated to a game which they probably expected to go this way. I wasn't sure. We talked about in the open that 30-10. You wonder what that does, and I think that Hofstra, despite whatever the score will be, is a much improved team. They've proven that, if not in this game, certainly in the season.
We can probably get a little presumptuous, even though it's very early, and possibly look ahead to a Syracuse-Princeton matchup next weekend. Syracuse leading here 10-2 in the first half, and at last word, Princeton led its quarterfinal round game against Loyola 6-0.
That's the scary part when you've shut somebody out for that long. That's Princeton plays good defense. They did last year against Syracuse, played great defense.
Top 4 seeds, Syracuse, Princeton, North Carolina, and Johns Hopkins. That would be a fabulous Final Four. Now, Ryder would certainly like it. Ryder with 4 goals and 2 assists already. He's scored at least 1 goal now in 39 consecutive games. His career will finish before he can catch Joe DiMaggio. Hofstra with the ball, 6:35 left in the first half.
Syracuse man down, and Beardsley playing like they're even on DiNardo. 2-1 second. They're in now. They should be even right now. But, of course, they're not in position yet.
Good shooting opportunity for Resigliano. Just fired it a little bit high.
Good left-handed shot by Resigliano, but as you said, a little high. Syracuse still trying to pick up after the penalty was up. Now they've making sure they've got everybody covered.
This is Botto being watched by Doyle. Doyle relaxes for a second. Now he catches back up.
Beardsley stole that one.
Boy, great takeaway by Beardsley. Upfield for Bettinger. Appeared to be on line. Bettinger couldn't grab it, and Hofstra will get it back.
You know, one of the things about Beardsley, look at him, he's only a sophomore. New, that's the goalie, new one. Kevin Johnson in. There are his numbers. Not a lot of time in the cage. But I think I just want to give the other goalie a little bit of a rest there. Give Romeo a chance to gather in. We may see him again. He wasn't injured, just I think they're giving him a break. After 29 shots.
And 10 goals.
Yeah.
And not many saves.
No, he had, 5, I believe.
That shot taken by Dom Finn. Syracuse will keep the ball with 5:14 left in the half. Well, if you're wondering wherefore art thou, Romeo, there he was on the sidelines for Hofstra.
Very nice. Nicely done. Work in.
I believe that's our first Shakespeare reference this season.
I think it is.
Jamie Archer with the ball for Syracuse.
John Hall defensively for Hofstra was on him.
Finn back to Fietta. Mark Fietta's shot saved by Kevin Johnson. Ball deflected back and Johnson grabs it and makes a bad outlet.
I think the goalies for Hofstra wear that like a clear, or not a clear, a face mask that with
tinted
plastic
windows.
Yeah, it's like looking at Darth Vader. I wonder if that's special for the game or that they use it all the time. Easily cleared by Syracuse.
10-2, the Orangemen lead it. This is Ryder, behind to Archer. Finds Finn, and Finn had it checked away. Nice hit by Heumann. Dom Finn knocks it away, and Syracuse gets it.
I think he called a
timeout
time.
called first, I beg your pardon.
You know, it's funny, you work, we got some officials we don't see all the time. Their gesture's a little bit different, and that was definitely not what we're used to, but it was a timeout, and they called it just before because they knew they were going to lose the ball, and I think that's, they wanted to make sure that they could take care of every opportunity, and it was a timeout.
Hofstra has come back in that statistical category.
Although the score doesn't reflect it, they have, and the four officials: Scott Boyle, Charles Libby, Steve Miller, and Terry Layden. Met them all before the game.
And I wouldn't recommend going out in those outfits as a foursome after the game.
That's right.
Pretty good crowd in the Carrier Dome today. Not as large as the crowd for the Johns Hopkins game, but a good contingent of Hofstra fans that you can see there wearing the Hofstra caps. Hofstra, incidentally, has started attracting some fans on Long Island this year in the game against Johns Hopkins that Hofstra hosted earlier this season. They drew a crowd of more than 6,000. It was the biggest crowd ever for a college lacrosse game on Long Island.
Talking to some of their publicity people, and they said they were on television a number of times. They said you'd be surprised what television can do for your sport.
Again, it's the enforcer, Mike Doyle.
Good hustle, but ground ball will go to Hofstra.
Doyle packed some wallop into that 5'9", 165 frame. .340 left in the half. Shot taken, and another fine save using a stick by Chris Saran. Now it's Wittick running upfield. To Matt Ryder. Ryder creating some space, gives it up to Archer. Back to Ryder. Charlie Lockwood picks it up. And now back to his teammate Andy Pusha. John Barr will join the offense from the bottom of the screen. Ryder.
Oh.
Looked for Steve Bettinger, who couldn't control it. And a nice pickup by Tony Belomo. Up to Brian Holland, who races upfield. Lockwood trying to catch him. Here's Kevin Jacobs. Scoreless thus far.
He's working on Beardsley, or Beardsley's working on him. And
Jacobs came in with 49 points. I don't think he's attempted a shot.
He has. I don't believe he has either.
And Beardsley is the guy who gets the credit.
Jacobs out of Vestal High School.
Great job by Reggie Thorpe to create that turnaround, or turnover.
Well, I think one of the one of the questions about Syracuse coming into the season was the defense. There was some inexperience there in terms of as a unit. Everybody had played big stick Middie. Generally they break in that way, then you move to close defense. And Thorpe and transferred, only played 1 year before that for Syracuse. And of course Beardsley was actually the veteran as the freshman, the starter. But they have gelled very well, and they have really rallied around Chris Saran.
Thorpe, as you mentioned, transferred to Syracuse. He came from Herkimer, and Herkimer won another national championship this year. I think that's 4 in a row, something like that for Herkimer.
Paul Wareham from Portland, New York, or from Portland State.
Charlie Lockwood from 15 yards in front of the cage whistles it by the ear of Kevin Johnson to make it 11-2 Syracuse.
It's like he had the stick on it, but the shot was so hard it just knocked the stick right back, and the ball continued in the goal. Let's see if he gets a stick on it. I don't know if he even was able to get a stick on it.
I think he heard it.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure he saw it.
Right. There's the reaction, and it goes upper left.
Lockwood having a good day with a goal and 2 assists. He had 3 goals the last time these teams met.
Let's see what Moran does this time as he loses it now to Fazy.
Fazy with a pass to Ryder. Ryder with a spin move. He'll shoot. He'll score. Number 5 for Matt Ryder. 12-2 Syracuse.
Now, we had said Moran had been dominating of late. Fazy comes around, scoops the ball up, looks for the open man, happens to be Ryder, makes 1 move, left-handed shot, past Johnson, goal number 5. Goal number 12 for Syracuse. 12-2, 145 first half.
And Jeff Schuessler getting a face-off opportunity now for Syracuse. It's won by the JD product, Kevin Moran. You see the score and the time in the second quarter.
They've only had 6 shots this quarter, the Hofstra has.
That shot saved by Saran. He used his foot to save it. That shot whistled past the goal by Kevin Barry.
Barry got about a 3 or 4 skip and hop steps, was able to wind up, but it wasn't on, and Beardsley was there. And number 47 will bring it up. He gets it across to Aarons, number 25 in the game.
Less than a minute to go in the half. Syracuse up by 10. Archer. Now it's Ryder, who's already scored 5 goals. Freddie Amaya, who has come on for Syracuse. Nice hand for him as he had the ball for a moment there. Freddie reinstated by the NCAA a few weeks ago after having to miss the Hopkins game. And this is Amaya with 30 seconds left in the half.
I was with him down there when he was warming up. Boy, he was taking some awful hard shots. That one's on the outside, however. Taken by...
And a beautiful outlet up to Doug Altmansberger. Nice catch by Carlson. Now it's Jacobs with 7 seconds left in the half. Jacobs with a sweeping shot. Saran was there.
In the crease.
What a half for Chris Saran.
Goalie couldn't ask for much more than that as Beardsley runs it out. And that's going to be it.
For a fantastic first half for Syracuse. Hofstra has not been in this game. Chris Saran leading the way in the goal for Syracuse. Matt Ryder doing it with 5 goals on offense. And our score at the half, Syracuse 12 and the Flying Dutchman 2. Well, the last time these two teams met, Syracuse won by 20 goals. At this rate, Syracuse would win by 20 goals. Syracuse 12, Hofstra 2 at the end of the first half.
I think Hofstra's improved, but I don't think they have improved enough, at least at this point, to be able to stay with Syracuse. But there's another whole half to play.
It did not take long for Syracuse to score. This is the opening faceoff.
5 seconds later, after Pusha got the opening face, he passed to Ryder, and Ryder plopped it home.
Decent first half, 5 goals and 2 assists.
Not bad. And then Saran comes up big as Carlson takes a point-blank shot and a stomach save and a rebound controlled by Saran, and he went on to have a great first half, 8 saves. Let's look at the stats. Ground balls at first were a Syracuse advantage, but they have picked up, and Hofstra has done a good job. Saves 8 and 7. The shots, as you said before, Dan, a leap out at 35 to 15, and declares neither team had particular problems clearing, but the shots, big discrepancy.
Syracuse leading by 10 at the half. 12-2 in favor of the Orangemen. Stay tuned. We'll have the second half coming up in a moment on Super Sports. Dan Hort and Dale Drypolcher back at the Carrier Dome. Syracuse leading Hofstra 12-2. Syracuse scored the first 6 goals of the game before Hofstra scored with 1 minute left in the first quarter. And in each quarter, Syracuse has won 6-1.
Talk about getting off to a good start. That's exactly what you want to do. Now, one of the problems is Syracuse sometimes, I don't know if they will in the playoffs, but maybe let down a little bit, and it would be understandable with a 10-goal lead. We will see what they do this third quarter. We get a look at the crowd. Some still out, getting some refreshment on their way back for this third quarter.
And for the Orange, it's Kevin Moran for Hofstra. We start the second half.
Ready for the face-off.
And it's Bob Fazy doing the honors for Syracuse. Now, check that. Andy Pusha doing the honors for Syracuse against Kevin Moran. Pusha had it, but Hofstra ultimately comes away with it. Kevin Barry. Well, the Flying Dutchmen don't come out flying necessarily in the second half. They do have the ball, trying to be smart, trying to get good shots.
Syracuse's third quarter is their least productive. Nice check by Beardsley. And a nice scoop by Beardsley. He may take that.
Beardsley, incidentally, in an interview this week, talking about this game, said, "I hope it's a close game. I want to cause Coach Simmons to lose more hair." I took that personally.
You know, if they gave you that quote and didn't attribute it to anybody, you know, who would you say made that quote?
You know who that's one's coming from. Pusha takes the shot and beats Joe Romeo, the starting goalie, who has come back in to begin the second half. 13-2 in favor of the Cuse.
Well, he's gotten them here, and I think they just wanted to give him a rest from the blitz he saw in the first half, but he starts off the second half 56 seconds later. Only took 5 in the first quarter, but that one's just too hard to track down, and number 22 looks like he's got a long quarter ahead of him. Fazy out, and they're not able to track that one down. The first 2 face-offs of this half go to Hofstra.
Bounce shot goes up high past Saran, and the officials ruled that the closest man was Syracuse's Reggie Thorpe.
Thorpe right there. Nice job to track that down. See, they're going to put a little pressure Syracuse on the clear. And they go to Saran. From Ryder to Dom Finn.
Finn being marked by Big Stick. Now gives it up to Roy Colsey.
Getting more of a man-to-man look here with Hofstra, and they've also got Bellamo, number 44, back, and he's just kind of a monster man. He'll fly off that crease when they want to double team somebody, but at least early I saw. We'll see what they set up in here as Archer has it.
Archer backing in, spinning and looking. Great pass. That hit the bar.
Vieta was in, so that'll send it back the other way. Nice leap. It was a leaper.
Jim Morrissey will go up and, I beg your pardon, Mark Vieta.
Yep.
Came down in the crease. Some hitting going on away from the ball. Mike Doyle involved with Kevin Berry.
Doyle, number 23. It's a typical lacrosse hit. The ball goes over to Hofstra.
Kevin Berry cradling and being watched by Chad Smith. Berry using speed.
Smith just waited for him to hang that stick out, and he put the old aluminum on it. Ball down, ground balls. This is the stat that we talked about. They're going to let this one go out of bounds. But Syracuse causes a lot of ground balls because they knock the ball out of the stick and then are able to pick it up. There's Coach Danowski.
Does not appear to be having a good day. His team trailing 13-2.
Bellamo again, that's number 4, not 44.
One of the Corning Connection players. Dom Finn with a great move. Finds the open man, Roy Colsey. Colsey falling down, took a strong shot. Romeo there for the save. Comes away from the net and gets belted, and the flag is thrown against Syracuse.
Going to call a push. I bet. Oh, let me see. Yeah. Got to be a push. Let's see. This was hard to see from up here. It's a subway shot. Romeo not able to control the rebound. And there's another scoop shot. And there's the push. So with possession, that'll cost Syracuse 30. And Hofstra's 5th man-up opportunity. And there you see Archer in the penalty area. As they've gone in the playoffs, especially against Hopkins, not a lot of penalties. They were into, Dan, some of the games we did up to 10 or 11, 12, but they've really been very good. They're up to 5 so far.
Certainly something that has to be avoided next weekend, assuming Syracuse plays in the Final Four against that caliber competition.
Nice save. Beardsley gets it back out.
Good backup by Ryder. And the outlet from Saran was a little too high for Doyle.
Should be released now.
Good hustle by DiNardo, but Syracuse winds up with it. Chad Smith to Jamie Archer. John Barr back to Archer. Archer guarded by Resigliano. There's Barr. Lockwood. Didn't have much on it. Saved by Romeo.
Let's see if Thorpe can come up with this. No looker. Kukovan.
Lockwood shoving off a check by DiNardo. Spots Bettinger, who scores. Lockwood with an assist. Bettinger with a goal.
That was beautiful. That was just a nice play. In a nice placement of the ball. I didn't think he had an angle. But there's the initial shot, actually the push, I should say, on by DiNardo. And there's the finish by Bettinger. There's the pass. There you get a better look at it. Better look at the pass, and then just not much of an angle, but he beat Romeo for goal number 14 for Syracuse.
Lockwood has equaled his career high with 3 assists in this game. Previously had 3 assists in games against North Carolina in the '91 playoffs and earlier this regular season against Hobart.
So push off on Syracuse. They lose the ball. Schussler in. Don Schmidt made a nice check. Ball down. Beardsley up with it. The defenseman goes over. Looks for somebody to give it up to. Gives it up to Ryder, who gets it behind, and now they go to Bettinger out in front.
Syracuse starting to get a lot of the reserves in. Fred Amaya with the ball. Be great to see Amaya score a goal after what he's gone through over the last couple of weeks. Temporarily being ruled ineligible and then having his eligibility restored. Bounce shot saved by Saran.
That was Belia. And Syracuse is going to take another minute. There he is, Belia. Gets off a decent shot. And the ball up in the air, controlled by Syracuse, but penalty number 6. It's Aaron's 25 who's going to serve the penalty. No man up. I checked that. 105 at this point, right about what Syracuse gives up. 1 out of 5. This is their 6th.
Syracuse up by a dozen, 14-2. Jacobs has it go right off his cross, but run down by Rosigliano. Now it's DiNardo. Again, Rosigliano and Jacobs. Big hit by Doyle. Hofstra is getting frustrated with the hits that Doyle is applying, and after that last clean hit by Doyle, he took a cheap shot from Chris Panos.
Panos hit him with a stick in the leg, and check the hit by Doyle, and he just put him down.
And
legally.
after Panos went down, he used his stick to swat Doyle on the leg away from the ball.
Syracuse, big stick, or Beardsley with it, defenseman actually.
.8:45 left, third quarter. Dom Finn with the ball for Syracuse. Fellow Middie, Roy Colsey with it. Syracuse looking for its 7th straight goal during this run. Colsey beats 2 men. Flag thrown as his shot goes high.
Got to be a hold, 30-second hold. So another man up for Syracuse.
On goal team. Goal team number 35. Hold. Technical foul, 30 seconds.
Perfect. Perfect signs, perfect diction. And there's a hold. They held him up, and Colsey is a moose. They got a stick up on him, and Hofstra will be down for 30 seconds. That's Delgado, who was the man who did the holding.
Archer back to Bettinger. Lockwood with a no-look to Ryder, who hit the post looking for his 6th goal. Syracuse converted its only previous man-up opportunity.
As you mentioned, so far that has not been a big problem for Syracuse, as they're even up now.
Lockwood's shot went wide, and this time it'll go over to Hofstra.
Romeo quickly out of the goal. Nice job by the goalie.
Romeo bouncing it past Ryder, who was on the ride. Lockwood rolling it forward to Ryder, back to Lockwood. Romeo caught out of the cage.
Nice
Still
save.
makes the save on Lockwood.
Nice job by Romeo.
Scott Apgar with it for Hofstra to Kevin Jacobs, finding Andy Carlson, who scores. Jacob to Carlson. Jacobs rather to Carlson. That's been the big combination this year for Hofstra. And to show you how dominant Syracuse has been, it took the entire first half and about 7.5 minutes of the second half for that combination to hook up and score.
Well, Carlson did a great job. He lost Reggie Thorpe. He quickly shot out from the goal mouth area and was able to get the pass and push it past the goalie, Saran, very quickly. So a nice play by the Dutchman. Flying Dutchman, I guess.
The Flying Dutchman. Hofstra, the only school in college sports with that nickname. Not a lot of demand to steal that from Hofstra. Syracuse wins the face. Chad Smith beating his man, looking for someone to hand the ball off to. Now it's knocked away by Kevin Moran. Altmansberger lost it. Dom Finn for Syracuse. Finn being whacked by Altmansberger. Now it's Jamie Archer. Jeff Cole watching him. Archer, his eyes always forward, takes the shot. Looks like it might have been saved by the defender, Cole.
Archer a little upset with himself, but did a nice job of setting that up. Romeo wants the cage set. Gonna set that cage. It moved. They move a lot here when they bang into them. They're always banging them. They must have hit that one, and it's out of its supporting point.
Roy Simmons Jr. looking for career victory number 226.
Great record.
About 6:20 left in the third quarter. Roy Colsey for Syracuse. Colsey using his strength. Now he loses it, and Romeo scoops it up. Gets it upfield to Dave Heumann.
Altmansberger passes, they center it. Try to ball off on the wing. Intended for Jacobs.
Jacobs is from Pittsford, New York, between Rochester and Corning, and though he's had a fantastic sophomore season, has not had a particularly big game today.
He's out of Vestal High School, which is in the southern tier. I don't know where Pittsford. I didn't think Pittsford was that far south. At any rate, Syracuse knew all about him. A lot of these guys are Empire State Games veterans, these where they get a lot of attention when they're in high school.
Charlie Lockwood bringing it up for Syracuse, and
Nice
the save made by Romeo.
As Lockwood got a little assist out of bounds by a Hofstra player, but it stays Syracuse ball.
Third quarter has been closed. Syracuse leading this quarter 2-1.
They're really trying to force in there in the middle. There's an awful lot of gold jerseys. They just hitting people.
Michael Adams able to get around John Barr. Now it's Adams to Dave Donatello. Donatello sweeping in behind. Gives it up to Andy Carlson, who has a goal and assist. Inside of 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Kevin Votto. Andy Pusha watching him. Dom DiNardo. And back to Mike Resigliano. Resigliano shoots.
Oh.
Saran with a save. Saran's outlet intended for Barr, intercepted by Dave Heumann. Another shot, another save for Saran.
This time the outlet, he goes to Beardsley. Saran's up to what, 13 saves.
And he's given up 3 goals. That's a fantastic rate.
I guess it is. Beardsley just gave the ball up, took a shot on the head, was looking for a penalty, didn't get it.
Matt Ryder, 5 goals so far, gives it up to John Barr. Finds Pusha, whose shot is saved by Romeo.
Romeo up to 13 saves also. He's really been, I think, tougher in this second half. Let's see what he does with the ball. Gets a nice outlet up to DiNardo. Takes it down the right wing.
A little more than 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Certainly a more respectable second half showing so far for the Flying Dutchman. Andy Pusha needed a saddle.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But he stopped suddenly, and you can tell that he was, yep, it was like one of those rodeo things.
Sigliano being checked by Fred Amaya. Sigliano whipping it high.
That was a shot. Yeah, that was a shot, so it'll stay. Hofstra ball. Place on midfield.
With 13 saves out of 16 shots on goal, Saran's save percentage is over 80% in this game. Best he's ever had is in the high 70s.
People talking about him also as perhaps the goalie of the year.
Side right, Brian. Right behind Brian. Side. Turn. Ball, Brian.
That's Brian Tullian, I believe, right? 41, yeah. Getting some experience. He's had it before, but he had to take some time off this season. Most of the season, actually.
For his graduate studies.
Right. Couldn't get the time to practice, but he's finished his program and he's back out working with the lacrosse team, and he's a big kid.
And an honorable mention All-America last year.
Right.
Casey Donegan with it. He's got quick feet. Back to Steve Aarons. Roy Simmons using quite a few of his reserves now here late in the third quarter. Alex Pateau is on the field. Matt Ryder, bounce shot, a little bit wide. Jamie Archer there.
This is one of the things Syracuse has, that depth, and they're able to get a lot of people in and not let the game get out of control.
About the only time this year that some of the deeper reserves didn't match up well with the opposition was against Massachusetts, where a blowout became a fairly close final score. Other than that, the deeper reserves have generally increased the lead. Casey Donegan was just slammed into the crease, and he is down right in front of the goal.
Great save by Romeo. Actually, he got a foot on that, and then Donegan took his header into the crease, but watch what Romeo does. They tried to fake him. Ooh, nice body save. Got the leg down, and then you see the crunch in the crease. But Romeo, like Hofstra, has really, I think, gotten stronger in this second half. He's up to 14 saves. The last one a beauty.
Legal check called on Hofstra. 1 minute penalty, so Syracuse has the man-up opportunity. With 1:42 left in the third.
That was Barry. It was an illegal check.
And the first string man-up unit is out for Syracuse.
Ball tipped momentarily by Hofstra. Archer gets it from behind.
Has Bettinger open. Bettinger shoots. Archer is closest.
Nice look by Bettinger. He lost Cole, the defender, but he couldn't get a real good shot on the cage.
Colsey's shot. Saved by Romeo.
Very nice save.
Outlet to Jeff Cole. 1 minute left in the third quarter. Romeo running it up. That's dangerous territory. Passes it forward to Cole. .40 seconds left in the quarter.
Well, he's running himself right into a corner there. He got a release, which is what he wanted to do. Nice job by Cole. Oh, excuse me, DiNardo. He ran all the way down there, was able to get his feet in there with possession and release his mate from the penalty box.
Got the release. Syracuse does get the ball. With 33 left in the quarter now, Syracuse leading 14-3.
32 seconds. 30.
Tom Finn with 23 left in the quarter. Colsey open. 15 left in the quarter. Lockwood with a pass. Ryder with his 6th goal. 15-3 Syracuse. And a career best 4th assist for Charlie Lockwood.
Nice look. They're really collapsing on the people with the ball. And then Lockwood, just a nice little touch pass as Ryder makes the cut. And Matt Ryder, as you said, Dan, goal number 6. But a nice assist by Lockwood.
So Lockwood has a new single game record for himself for assists, and Matt Ryder has one off his all-time high for goals in one game. He had 7 against CW Post last year. Fazy wins the face-off. Still 4 seconds to get off a shot for Syracuse. 2 seconds, and that will run out the quarter as Matt Ryder couldn't grab it in his cross and get off a quick shot. Well, the third quarter was close, but the game isn't. With 15 minutes left, Syracuse is on the verge of moving on to the Final Four. Our score with 15 minutes left in regulation, Syracuse 15, and the Hofstra Flying Dutchman 3. "15 minutes left, Syracuse leading Hofstra 15-3. Rematch with Princeton is looming.
Shots, the leaper, right off the board at you, 53-23. And the saves, I would have to say that both goalies have been great. Romeo has really come on tough in this second half. Third quarter especially, he's just done a great job. Casey back in form, getting the face-off. Samaya cranks one from center field.
Maya getting a lot of playing time in this game.
I think you're right. I think I'd like to see him get a goal. The whole bench came to their feet there when they were when he took that crank shot.
Aarons and Pateau are coming in for Syracuse. Looks like Coach Simmons is also getting a lot of playing time to the seniors that don't always play that much in their last dome game. I believe there are 14 seniors playing in their final dome game today. Alex Pateau, right there, number 19, is one.
So kind of a hope there's somebody there I can get it to pass. Tully comes up with it.
And it's Casey Donegan for Syracuse. Ryder just missing that 7th goal.
Hofstra ball. Good hustle. Cole, number 6 for Hofstra.
See that Ryder does have a new career high for points with 8 in this game. 6 goals, a couple of assists. And again, one more goal would tie his career high in that category.
Ryder out of Homer, New York, Homer High School.
Had more than 50 goals one year in his high school career. I think it was his junior year, which is pretty much unheard of in high school lacrosse.
You can imagine what he must have been like in high school. As you look at this Syracuse roster, you see a lot of guys from the smaller schools in the area, and not lacrosse powers necessarily like Homer. And Ryder obviously has done a great job and a great career here at Syracuse.
Syracuse up 15-3. Shot and a goal scored by Dom DiNardo from Corning. 15-4.
Got a nice hop on that ball. DiNardo fakes left, comes back around right, and then goes finally left and takes a high hop under the stick of Chris Saran. Going to come back left. Nice move, and ball hops up.
Face-off still loose, and Moran comes away with it for Hofstra. Well, he's certainly done a nice job today, playing in front of friends and family members.
He's gotten 11 face-offs. I don't think there's been anybody else on the draw except him. JD, Kingsville DeWitt.
There are 3 players from Central New York high schools on the Hofstra roster, and Moran has been the most noticeable one today. The others are Paul Flug from Fayetteville, played at FM, and Matt Coleman from Beeville.
Those schools also producing a lot of players for not only here, but other schools also.
One of the best from Beeville this year, Jim Ganello, will be going on to Duke next year. And FM has a great defender, Tommy Smith.
Going to Virginia.
Going to Virginia.
Yep.
Well, frustration mounting for Hofstra, and it's becoming very noticeable on the field.
Number 37 for Hofstra. That's Belia. Watch the ball's on the ground, and that's just he just went after Syracuse player. He went after Schmidt, and they're going to sort it out now. And actually, Thorpe just picked him up off the pile, picked up the player from Hofstra, and just said, "Let's stop." And then the flags flew.
That little flare-up was not completely unanticipated before the game.
Unnecessary roughness.
7 goal, 1 minute unnecessary roughness.
Quite often when you have a matchup between upstate and downstate, whether it's high school or Empire State games or at the college level, even though some of the players playing for Hofstra are really from upstate, you have that rivalry, and especially if the game gets lopsided, tempers can flare. 15-4 with 12:20 remaining.
Tom Finn's got the ball, gives it up to Charlie Lockwood.
Matt Ryder takes the shot and scores his 7th goal. He has equaled his career high with 7 goals.
A really powerful shot. I think he hits Belomo's stick. Watch 44. Tries to stop the shot. Hit the stick and knocked it right out of his hand on the way in. Watch the velocity here. Belomo puts the stick up, hit the stick, continued into the goal. So 9 points now for Matt Ryder. 7 goals, 2 assists.
The all-time school record for goals in a game is 9, co-held by Gary Gate and Greg Tarbell. Ryder has 7 and is out on the field.
Well, they're doing some hacking out there.
Sounds like fencing.
It does.
11:45 remaining.
Looking who they've got in now defensively. Some new faces out there. Thorpe's still in, but on the right side, that's Smiley from West Genesee High School, and Peter Linclip in defensively. So Thorpe, the only starter for the close-in defense, still in.
Ryder still in on offense for Syracuse with 7 goals. He's behind the cage. John Barr with the ball at this moment. Bettinger now. Casey Donegan scores. And it's 17-4 Syracuse.
They fed Donegan in. He was able to get loose in there, and watch Donegan. He's not a big guy, 5'7", 161, but he gets free and goes off the opposite side of the goalie, the offside, and puts in goal 17 for Syracuse.
Another assist there for Charlie Lockwood, his 5th, and a lot of people are combing through the records now. Syracuse approaching some great individual milestones.
Finn going to be off of downfield.
Ryder remains on the field for Syracuse. I would say in a regular season game, he would probably be out by now. Usually he does come out in situations like this, but in his last dome game
Oh, yeah, there's...
Approaching a record?
Yep.
Why not? Well, now he's running off and should get a big round of applause.
Yeah, he does.
That's the shoulder rub from Coach Simmons.
Simmons' seal of approval.
7 goals, not a bad dome finale for Matt Ryder. And 3 assists. No, 2 assists, beg your pardon.
Yeah, 9 points, but nice defense by Thorpe. Thorpe playing with the intensity of a person who's not quite right.
Pretty steal by Chad Smith, taking it right away. Smith still has it. Smith got off the shot, goes wide. Donegan there.
Listen, I want to say that's a compliment to Thorpe. He's just got great intensity, and it doesn't make any difference what the score is, or your average person would say, gee, it's time to relax a little bit, but Syracuse has been able to keep that pressure on all year. Donegan in. Finn takes it. Oh!
Dom Finn with his first goal. 18-4, Cuse.
This ball gets in that goal really quickly. And Romeo just sees it at the last second, can't make an adjustment. And it's tough for Dom Finn. Just a nice shot.
9 different players with goals for Syracuse. Ryder, Archer, Bettinger, Lockwood, Barr, Pusha, Colsey, Donegan, and Finn.
Schnellinger, I think, with the ball for Hofstra, number 7 in. Yes, lost it. I think most of the fans, there are people who saw that 30-10 game. Everyone seems to contend Hofstra much improved, but as we said, not quite up to the level of a Syracuse. But another good recruiting year, and you can make big strides.
Tully off the bounce pass from Saran. 9.5 minutes left in the game. Syracuse with a 14-goal lead. Make it 15-goal lead. Jim Morrissey getting on the board. The freshman from Skaneateles.
Another one of those small schools we've talked about. Watch, Romeo doesn't think he can get the shot off. I think Romeo's had a couple of too many shots at him. It's this shot number 60, and he really failed to react. 60 shots is an awful lot. There's the man who put it by him. Morrissey, only a freshman.
And a good first season for Morrissey. 2-time high school All-America, whose uncle was a teammate of Coach Simmons at Syracuse in the 50s.
Great check. Schussler did a nice job of checking the ball, but just too much.
Shot and a goal. Hofstra makes it 19-5. Kevin Berry with his second goal.
Berry just takes a stick side shot. I think maybe they'll make one more save and then get Chris Saran out of the cage. But Berry up with his second makes it 5 for the Flying Dutchman.
Garrett Esposito, Syracuse's second string goalkeeper, was warming up behind the bench. He'll be next.
Good job, Kevin.
Hofstra down by 14 with the ball.
Face-off stats, 15 apiece. One of the things going in, we said that they wanted to do is get at least 50% and work from there. There have been runs by face-off men. Moran had a run, and then Fazy had a run for Syracuse. Long pass, ball behind.
Shot and score. Hofstra getting a goal from Brian Holland. And it's 19-6.
Holland takes a high shot, bounces down it. You see it again. Looked like he might have gotten a stick on it.
19-6.
Face-offs right at 15 apiece. Let's see what happens with this one. New face-off man for Hofstra.
Pusha won it for Syracuse.
Minnow was the man who faced off for.
Charlie Lockwood with it. Circles the arm to set up the offense and gives it to Pusha. Eric Kanoss is in. He's right out in front. Shot taken by Pusha. Went wide, but Morrissey was there for Syracuse.
Checking the stats, I was wrong. The faceoff's 15-14 actually in favor of Hofstra at this point. So they've won that battle as they check a helmet on the field, and now action resumes.
John Barr with about 7.5 minutes remaining. Barr taunting his defender. Now he puts it into high gear. Barr shoots. Saved by Romeo. Picked up by Morrissey. Loose ball. Kanoss fighting for it. Pushing and shoving. Not a lot of going after the ball.
See what they come up with here. Eric Kanoss, 6'4", 232. That's a big attack man. And he's going to be down for a minute. There's both 34s, Kanoss and Human. And then Kanoss will be down for
1 minute. 1 minute penalty on Syracuse. 7 minutes in the second remaining.
7:01 left. Saran remains in goal for Syracuse.
The attendance for this NCAA quarterfinal game here in the Dome.
so another man-up opportunity for Hofstra.
4,405. Thank you.
7th opportunity here for Hofstra. They've converted on 1 of 6 so far.
Here it comes. We're gonna go red.
And Saran picks up the bouncing ball, and he'll run it upfield. Bounces it ahead to Chad Smith.
Cute little pass.
And Smith fired high for Doyle.
Saran made a nice little, nifty little pass on the way up the field. He's not going to get a break yet. 6:28 left.
Esposito's ready to come on whenever.
Yeah, well, they're given release. I believe they said release, so that'll make everybody even.
Jacobs for Hofstra. Carlson watched by Thorpe. Don't forget to stay tuned after the game. We'll hear from the winning coach, presumably head coach Roy Simmons of Syracuse, with the Orangemen leading 19-6 with 6 minutes remaining.
Beardsley did a nice job there, a little behind the backer. Hofstra's going to end up with it.
Doyle in hot pursuit. Timeout called by Hofstra.
Momo, number 44, the man who had the ball. He's played a good game. A lot of action for him. A lot of defensive work. But Hofstra calls the time.
And again, an invitation to share your thoughts on our coverage. Send us a note at Super Sports in care of Adelphia Cable, 500 South Salina Street, Syracuse, New York, the zip 13202. Criticisms can be directed to Dale Drypolcher.
I can take it. What do we got here? Oh, quarterfinals. That's what it looked like when we started the day. Carolina Navy, Hopkins, Virginia, Syracuse, Hofstra, and Princeton, Loyola. I think we've got most of the idea that all the scores in. I don't know if we've got them all in yet. Who will be in the Final Four?
Syracuse's defense has been excellent today.
Absolutely. They just they stay aggressive, and they're never not hustling. And there was the little behind the backer by Beardsley.
5:30 remaining. Hofstra with it. Not for long. Syracuse will get it. Well, the building process continues for Hofstra. Getting closer to rising to Syracuse's level, and the fans are rising for Chris Saran.
13 saves for senior Chris Saran. Nice tribute to the man who transferred from Franklin to Marshall.
Garrett Esposito, incidentally, replaced him in the cage for Syracuse.
Colsey directed pass to Noss, out of bounds, the Hofstra ball. So that man may get a chance to put a stick on one.
Esposito, by the way, is a junior, so he'll be penciled in, at least in the preseason, as #1 man for next year. He's able to make a save, but the whistle had blown before the shot was taken.
Offside. There's that face mask.
Kevin Johnson, the backup goalie for Hofstra, saw a little playing time in the second quarter. Romeo got a break and came back and had a good second half.
Sometimes that's what you need, and it certainly panned out for them. I thought Romeo played very well.
Still about 4:20 remaining. Syracuse leading 19-6.
He had a
Yes, it is. White ball.
You know, the stats have a way of evening out. Ground balls had been a great advantage for Syracuse. Now it's what, 39-37 advantage. So the ebbs and flows, but the score doesn't change all that much.
Kevin Johnson comes in. Joe Romeo will head to the sidelines. Gave it a good effort for Hofstra today.
It's a nice round of applause. 5'9", 155 out of Port Jefferson, New York, and he had a good game, especially strong in that third quarter.
Colsey hits the deck, and it goes to Hofstra.
Colsey right back playing defense.
Jacob's shot twisted wide. Hofstra has it with 3:46 remaining.
It's been a game where Syracuse has been able to do pretty much what they wanted defensively and offensively. Hofstra did a lot of zone early and then putting a lot of people on the ball and collapsing and haven't changed much. It's just that Syracuse has been able to solve whatever has come up. And that fast break game, the slowdown, difficult to stop. Difficult to be effective at. It was today. Syracuse just able to run when they want.
Once again, Mike Doyle went flying into a pack of bodies, looking for contact. Syracuse has it. Slick move to avoid the hit. Shot didn't have much on it, went wide. Syracuse has it.
Denver was the man who was in, number 16 for Syracuse. Lost the ball. Moss has it behind.
Morrissey, Noss, Aarons, Cateau on the reserve, seeing some time for Syracuse right now. Freddie Amaya's in. Freddie's bounce shot wide, picked up by Syracuse. Morrissey.
Got good moves for a freshman.
Now it's Donegan. See the time, 2:45 remaining. Syracuse leading 19-6. Amaya loses it, and here come the Flying Dutchman.
Delgado with it, 35. Oh, nice look.
And the shot and goal for Chris Panos.
Hofstra goal by number 42, Christopher Panos. Chris Panos, 42, scores for Hofstra to make it 19.
Ball's down, and Panos alertly picks it up and flicks it by Esposito.
The last 3 goals now have been scored by Hofstra after it was 19-4 Syracuse. It's 19-7.
For Hofstra.
Next week, Syracuse against Princeton. We expect, again at last check, Princeton had a sizable lead over Loyola.
I think they announced that they won.
That's a final?
I think 12-6 was the score, so it'll definitely be Syracuse-Princeton.
And a game that Syracuse has anticipated since Memorial Day last year when Princeton beat Syracuse for the national championship in overtime. After a great rally by Syracuse forced OT.
Yeah, they were able to play the way they wanted, slowed the game down, played well defensively, got Syracuse a little frustrated, so it'll be an interesting matchup. Tully there for Syracuse. Takes the ball away from Mishaw.
.135 to go. Noss scoring for Syracuse. The Orangemen hit the 20 mark, and it's 20-7.
Got an assist from Joyce, number 40. Nice pass by Joyce with the big stick. And there's a jump shot by the big attack man. Noss, 6'4", 230, and there's the left-handed pass.
.27 Syracuse with 1:32 remaining.
Well, defensively, I guess they were, 10 goals better than they were in that 30-10 game.
Still 1:32 left.
Yeah.
Syracuse wins another face. This is Christian Fotopoulos. Procedure call against Syracuse.
Yeah, when it's under 2 minutes in the game, you can't leave the box at all. Well, you can if you want to, but you lose the ball.
But please, don't try to go on the field. Thank you.
I want to remind you again that we'll hear from head coach Roy Simmons Jr. immediately after the game.
Syracuse up with the ball. Schussler takes it over. Now when he gets it inside the goal area, now he's got to stay in there. Shot.
1 minute.
And we're inside of a minute to go. Freddie Amaya with a ball for Syracuse.
Everybody wants Amaya to score.
Pass for Donegan, picked off by Hofstra. Amaya with a check to knock the ball away. It's loose on the floor. Call against the Cuse. Goes to Hofstra.
35 seconds left. Push. Hofstra ball. Good defense. Morrissey put the ball back on the carpet, but Hofstra up with it.
30 seconds.
Down to 15 seconds remaining.
Peter Linkcliffe with the ball. Oh, intercepted.
And Jacobs scores with 9 seconds remaining. That's his first goal of the day.
I was going to say, Jacobs coming in, had 40? I had him for 49 points, 17 goals, 32 assists. Boy, that was an easy way to pick up a goal. Janos alertly picked up the ball and
so it's 20-8. Hofstra scoring 5 times here in the fourth quarter, including twice against the backup goaltender Garrett Esposito. Syracuse wins one more face-off, down to 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's it. For the 11th consecutive year, Syracuse is on its way to the Final Four and a rematch of last year's national championship game against Princeton. Final score from the Carrier Dome today, Syracuse 20 and Hofstra 8. Certainly an impressive performance by the Orangemen.
they definitely started off with a quick goal, 5 seconds, and the intensity lasted up until, well, the whole game, actually. They had a lot of time to get people in the reserves in, but good defensive intensity, another good game from Saran. It's the kind of thing that you want to do when you're heading for the playoffs into the Final Four. I don't think they did anything wrong in terms of things that they feel they got to work on. Didn't have a close game, but they've been pointing for Princeton, and they're going to get them.
Well, there'd been some talk before the game that Syracuse might play poorly because of distractions. Most notably the fact that the team has had to deal with the surrounding controversy over the possibility of NCAA rules violations, but the team certainly did not appear distracted today, scoring 5 seconds in, scoring the first 6 goals of the game, leading 12-2 at the half, 15-3 at the end of 3, and winning 20-8.
A game that was, as you said, really never in doubt, didn't have a rush against them. There's a nice look at Dom Finn. They got a nice game out of Romeo, their goalkeeper. Hofstra did, especially as we said in the third quarter. They have improved greatly, but we're up against a team that I think is on somewhat of a mission. Shots, obviously, a big statistical difference. When you get off 36 more shots, it really is tough when percentage you get in that Syracuse does. The other stats evened up as the game went along.
So Syracuse wins it by a 28 final score as promised. We're joined now by winning head coach Roy Simmons Jr. Coach Simmons, Dan Hort and Dale Dreipolcher upstairs in the booth. Congratulations on your 11th consecutive trip to the Final Four.
Well, it's important to these kids, and particularly the seniors. You know, this is their last game in the Dome. They've gone to the Final Four their whole 4 years here, and this marks the start of a shorter season and 2 more games.
You began talking about a rematch with Princeton almost immediately after the end of last year's thrilling championship game, and you're going to get that opportunity in a little less than a week.
Well, I think either team would have been all right with the boys. We lost to Loyola early in the year. We wouldn't have had to wait a whole year to play them. They're on our schedule now. Princeton, unfortunately, is not on our schedule. I'm sure it will be in the future. But a chance to play Princeton, we'll take it.
Coach, you got out early, a goal in 5 seconds off the face-off, fast break, and I thought the intensity was great throughout the entire game. You got another great game from Saran. Anything that you didn't like or that you thought was particularly impressive?
Well, Chris, again, had some great point-blank shots early on. He probably saved the attitude of their close attack. They thought they had to get a little closer, one more pass, and he set the tempo. But we wanted to take them out of their game plan. I saw them play last week, and we weren't going to get into watching the paint dry. And we were going to make them run, and if we got on the scoreboard big, we took them out of their normal game and made them play Syracuse ball, and we'll play anybody play our ball.
And I thought that defensively also, you got great games from your defense. They really were on. Ground balls was a statistic early that you dominated. It evened up as the game went on, but early you were picking up everything that was on the carpet.
Intensity when the ball's on the ground, and particularly with our close defense, was one of our game plans today. We let them know they're in a street fight, and we're good at that. If you'll note that the warm-up music was Bad Boy by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I caught that.
I know you knew that.
Was that your pick?
No, the Wagner was mine, and the Carl Orff. Bad Boys by Pink Floyd was a boys' call.
Well, Roy, the last time the Final Four was held at College Park, Maryland, Syracuse came away with the gold, as you like to say. Best of luck in trying to do it again next weekend.
Thank you very much.
Syracuse a winner today by a 20-8 final score, and Syracuse gets its rematch in a week against Princeton. We want to thank you for joining us today. Again, the final Syracuse 20 and Hofstra 8. A reminder that this has been a presentation of Super Sports, a production of Adelphia Cable Communications. For Dale Drypolcher, I'm Dan Horde. Thanks for watching, and so long, everybody.